Have you ever felt it? That quiet whisper in your soul, the one that tells you something needs to change. It's like an alarm clock you keep hitting snooze on, promising yourself, someday you'll chase that dream. Someday you'll stop pretending to be okay. Someday you'll actually live, not just exist. For Ethan, that someday felt like a distant fairy tale. For years, he ignored the whisper, letting it fade into the background noise of his life. But then, one ordinary morning, everything changed. It wasn't a dramatic movie scene, it was painfully real. He woke up late again, his phone screen a battlefield of missed calls from his boss. A rent reminder blinked aggressively. He looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the tired, defeated person staring back. In that moment, something inside him didn't just crack, it shattered. And from the wreckage, two small words emerged, a quiet but powerful whisper. No more. That was it, that was his revolution. That was day one. Because real change doesn't start when things magically get better. It starts the moment you decide you've had enough of staying the same. On day two, Ethan didn't try to conquer the world. He started with something much harder, facing himself. He sat down with a pen and a notebook and confronted the mirror of truth. He wrote down every fear, every lame excuse, every promise he'd broken to himself. The list grew longer and longer, a testament to the life he'd been avoiding, and then he cried. Not from weakness, but from the raw, painful relief of finally being honest. He realized just how much energy he had wasted pretending to be fine. With that honesty came a new promise, not to anyone else, but to the man in the mirror. I will no longer live half alive. This wasn't just a thought, it was a call to action. He deep cleaned his messy room, deleting toxic contacts from his phone as he threw out old trash. He went for a long walk, leaving his headphones behind. There was no music, no podcasts, just the sound of his own footsteps on the pavement and the quiet hum of the world around him. In that silence, he discovered something he hadn't felt in years, a fragile but real sense of peace. It's a powerful lesson. Before you can change your life, you have to change your environment and, more importantly, the lies you tell yourself. Day 3 was about the fire of discipline. We all know that jolt of motivation, that exciting spark that makes us want to change everything at once. But motivation is a fickle friend. It's what gets you started. Discipline is what keeps you alive when that spark fizzles out. For the first time in months, Ethan woke up before his alarm. He watched the sunrise and it felt like a silent act of forgiveness. He made his bed, a small victory. He took a brutally cold shower, a shock to his system that screamed, I am awake! His goal for the day wasn't monumental. It was simple, almost laughably small. Read 10 pages, run 10 minutes, grow 1%. There were no miracles, no overnight transformations, just pure, unglamorous effort. Every time his mind begged him to quit, to just go back to bed, he whispered his new mantra, not today. By the end of the day, he wasn't feeling like a superhero. He felt tired, bone-tired. But beneath that exhaustion, something sacred was taking root. Consistency. This is the truth they don't show you on Instagram. Real change isn't built in the highlight reels. It's forged in the quiet, boring, everyday moments of just showing up. Of course, every transformation meets resistance. Day 4 brought the storm. It was as if life itself was testing his resolve. His boss, already annoyed, yelled at him over a minor mistake. His old car, which had been rattling for weeks, finally broke down on the way home. Doubt, which had been hiding in the shadows, came roaring back like thunder. The voice in his head screamed, see? It's pointless. Just give up. Who were you kidding? He was so close to quitting, to sinking back into the familiar comfort of misery. But that night, defeated and exhausted, he opened his notebook. His own handwriting stared back at him, a lifeline in the storm. I will no longer live half alive. He read it over and over. And so he kept going. Through the tears, through the fear, through the deafening noise of failure. He didn't have to win the war that day. He just had to survive the battle. And in doing so, he learned a critical lesson. Life doesn't just test the strong, it strengthens the tested. The storm isn't a sign that you should stop. It's proof that your change is real enough to fight back. By day 5, the clouds began to part. After weathering the storm, Ethan started to see glimmers of light again. This was the day of reconnection. He did something he'd been putting off for months. He called his parents, not out of obligation, but because he genuinely wanted to hear their voices. He sent a message to an old friend he'd had a falling out with, offering a simple, heartfelt apology. He walked down the street and smiled at a stranger, a real, genuine smile that reached his eyes. For the first time in a long time, he felt connected not just to himself, but to the world around him. He realized that success wasn't just about personal achievements, promotions, or paychecks. It was about alignment, that beautiful moment when the person you are on the inside finally starts to match the person you were always meant to be. Later that day, he saw his elderly neighbor struggling to carry groceries and, without a second thought, rushed to help. In that small act of giving, he found a profound sense of healing. It's a simple, universal truth. When you help others rise, you can't help but rise higher yourself. With this newfound clarity, day 6 became about the vision. For so long, Ethan's world had been defined by his pain and his past. Now he could finally see beyond it. He could see possibility. He sat down with his notebook again, but this time he wasn't writing about his fears. He was writing his future. He didn't just jot down vague goals. He wrote his vision with vivid, electrifying detail. In 1 year, I will be physically strong from daily exercise. I will be mentally clear, free from the fog of anxiety. I will be financially stable, in control of my money. I will be spiritually alive, connected to my purpose. He didn't just write it down and forget about it. He made it his daily ritual. Every morning, he would close his eyes and visualize this future version of himself. He saw himself crossing the finish line of a race. He felt the peace of a clear mind. He imagined the security of a healthy bank account. He spoke these things as if they were already true, turning his vision from a distant dream into an inevitable reality, because you cannot become what you cannot see. You have to visualize your future so vividly that your present has no choice but to catch up. And then came day 7, the rebirth. On the 7th day, Ethan woke before dawn, not to an alarm, but to an inner clock that was finally in sync with his soul. He walked outside as the first rays of sunlight painted the sky. The air was cool and crisp. For the first time, he didn't feel like he was running from his life. He felt ready, truly ready, to live it. Looking around, he realized the world hadn't magically changed in 7 days. His problems hadn't all vanished. His boss was probably still grumpy, but he had changed. And that, he understood, made all the difference. A transformed life isn't built in a day, but it can absolutely begin in one. It begins on the day you finally, truly decide to live differently. That day can be today. Thank you so much for watching. If Ethan's story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. You've got this.